the camera. And so we're broadcasting live out there on Facebook. And we're going to have Larry Pratt with us. As I said, Larry is the former president of Gun Owners of America, built that organization into quite a formidable organization. In fact, we spent a great deal of time fighting the Otis McDonald case here in Chicago, which gave the state and citizens of the state the right to bear arms to protect themselves. And in that great case, Justice Alito said that the elected officials were not protecting its black and brown citizens. I didn't say that. Justice Alito said that. So, so before you get all excited and say, well, this guy's gone crazy. Charles Butler, he's a loon. No, I'm telling you, that's what Justice Alito said, not I. But let's see here. Let me swing the camera back into play. I happen to have gone to a 5th and 6th grade reunion over the weekend, and a gentleman named Tom Sis was gracious enough to open his home up to us, and we crashed, and we had a great time. It was just a big love fest. I love all those people. They're just tremendous people, Dave and Tom and John and Manola and Jill and Jenny and Bertha and Michelle. It was just a great time, recalling the memories. And then we talked to Mr. Castle, who was our 5th and 6th grade teacher. So it was quite an event. He's about 80 years old, but I hope he's there with us next year. Right now I'm looking at my Zyper, and it should be on. So let's see here. Check something real quick. Let's see. Is it ringing? Okay. Did Larry call me? No, Larry hasn't called. So I will reach out to him. Usually we have a producer to do this. We'll have one soon, as soon as we switch over to our new station. It's going to be exciting, I can tell you that. Where is Larry? I'm going to text him because I'm looking forward to moving with just some great topics and great guests. As we have done over the years, we've been doing this for a while now, and it's been a privilege and a pleasure to bring you the facts. It was really interesting that during this little outing we had over the weekend, it came up that somehow it was Trump who had these kids down here, and he had these kids in cages. And when I pointed out that those pictures were from Barack Obama, got awfully quiet on the other side, but it always does. It's that thing where we want to put the blame and always want to put the worst foot on people like Donald Trump. But Donald Trump, I'm telling you, great guy. I don't know if you guys can hear me out there. I'm sure you can now. We just changed those settings. So we know that we're broadcasting over the air, hopefully. So we'll be out there doing our thing. It's always great to have this opportunity to get out here. But Justice Kennedy, he's left. And Kennedy says, some people say, goodbye, Justice Kennedy, goodbye, gun control. News that Justice Anthony Kennedy has retired from the Supreme Court is sending liberals and progressives into a panic, so this article says. And it goes on to say that Kennedy has, of course, been the swing vote in abortion and gay rights cases, and whether those cases will withstand a new Supreme Court with 5 justices, 5 core conservatives, is a serious question. I can tell you it's going to be interesting. But we're going to get an answer to that as we talk with Mr. Larry Pratt, who's listened to the Supreme Court argue the gun cases for the last 30 years. Hi, Larry. How are you? Thanks for coming on.
It's a real pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm looking at an article here, and in a number of these articles, they're saying the same thing, that Justice Kennedy was the vote, and the title of this article is "Goodbye, Justice Kennedy, Goodbye, Gun Control." It's by a guy named Eric Siegel of Huffington Post, and this is his opinion piece. And he says the Supreme Court has only ruled in favor of an individual right to own guns in 2 decisions, and neither one did Kennedy write his own opinion. He did, however, make up 5 of the votes in both the 2008 vote, which is, the one, I think that was McDonnell, and they returned to the Second Amendment since McDonnell has decided that thousands of lower court cases wrestling with the balance between the right to keep and bear arms and public safety. I don't understand why these people try to conflate public safety with bearing arms. We have millions of people who own guns, and we have numerous people who own rifles and handguns, and you have a few quacks out here, and they want to take away all of our rights because of a few boys who are on psychotropic drugs and can't get a girlfriend.
I think it shows just how impervious they seem to be to facts when they want to put as opposites public safety and widespread gun ownership. Hello, let's look at Chicago, where you can't really say there's widespread legal gun ownership for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to travel all that far. Just go over to most of Indiana, where guns are readily available. And they even have I think, a kind of a version of constitutional carry. But it's very easy to carry a gun in Indiana. Why don't they have a crime problem even worse than Chicago's? No, it seems to be just the other way around. These guys don't get it, that when the average person can protect himself in that, say, 5 minutes maybe, that he has to wait for the cops to get there, that makes a big difference.
It does, and we saw that in the recent shooting. There was a shooting where some people, some young, I guess a couple of guys had concealed carry, and they stopped a gunman from, and here in Illinois, we had a case like that, where this resource officer had a weapon, and he stopped a gunman from gunning down more kids. I think the man shot 3 or 4 kids before he was fatally shot. But Larry, what I don't understand is how these guys are allowed to surrender after they've shot helpless people. That, to me, that's just mind-boggling.
I have some curiosity about what was going on in their disturbed mental processes, but not that much. And it just seems to me that you've got an active shooter. He's trying to kill as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't he be killed as quickly as possible?
No question.
And not to be too crass about it, but it also will save the government a lot of money, because if you put him in jail, ting, cha-ching, cha-ching, just housing him is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars a year.
Mm-hmm.
The legal expenses of prosecuting him, and that'll go on for so long. And frankly, a 50-cent solution, or whatever a good bullet costs these days, will take care of the problem.
It will, but and then even if they convict him for murder, he has to wait on death row for 20 years before he's executed. I mean, I just find that.
Yeah.
I had someone on my show, a lady on my show a couple of weeks ago, who was, she represented a group called Conservatives Against the Death Penalty. And for whatever reason, she couldn't wrap her mind around the fact that the recidivism rate is 90+%. So 90 of every 100 people who are incarcerated are reincarcerated and back in prison for committing a heinous crime. But these even
maybe that's why it's biblical to take a murderer's life, because once he's been executed, the recidivism rate goes to 0.
Well,
you save lives by giving him justice.
But what they say is, okay, but this is the thing that I have. This is the problem that I have with that too. So I understood her side from this, that innocent people have been railroaded into death penalty situations, and they've been exonerated through the extensive help from outside people, outside of the criminal justice system. And I think, though,
and Charles, I've already referred to the biblical solution in one case. The biblical solution to that is the prosecutor, if he knowingly brought charges against a victim, if you will, against an accused, and got him convicted, and then it was overturned, got him convicted on a capital penalty, that prosecutor should be strapped into the chair and given the same penalty.
Ooh, that
is the just solution.
Well, Larry, I don't think that would ever happen, but they should certainly
Well,
go
then we're going to continue to see bad prosecutions.
Well, that's the problem. We can see.
Can you imagine what would happen?
Yeah, but
just think if a prosecutor knew that his precious rear end was on the line, if he's bringing false charges, he might be a little bit more careful.
He might follow the law. Is that what you mean, Larry? He may follow the law.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a quaint notion.
Yeah, but these attorneys and these judges are totally out of control, much to the detriment of we, the American people. Speaking of we, the American people, Auntie Maxine was on a roll this weekend, and
every weekend.
And she was like, if you're going to shoot at me, shoot straight. But see, she has it wrong. I always said when I had my death threats was, Lord, pray for me to I'd say the prayer that I want you to pray for me is to study my hand so that I can shoot straight. And Maxine turns it around and says that you better shoot straight because I'm coming at you, or some craziness like that.
Yeah, I think you've very nicely paraphrased the prayer that the Patriot had in that wonderful movie several years ago. He's aiming at a couple of Brits who've got his son hostage, I guess, and he's praying just as he shoots, Lord, make me fast and make me accurate.
Yeah, and he was very, very accurate. But yeah, that Maxine, man, I wish that I could get that clip. And I had it up at one time, but she was like, hey, I want to shoot straight now. You better shoot straight or something. But her dialogue was so wacky, I couldn't really follow it, Here she goes.
About kicking me out of
Congress.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't want to see her ended. She is the gift that keeps on giving. Madam Maxine, believe me, no sane person on the right is going to want to harm a hair on your head.
Yeah, man, she says, we know the Constitution and we're going to protest. Well, if you knew the Constitution, Maxine, why would you call for the president to be impeached when he hasn't violated the Article 2 of the Constitution, whereby you can impeach the president? There has to be some crime. And she runs around screaming, impeach.
She was hollering that. He'd been in office for, I think, 5 days. He hadn't had time to do anything impeachable.
Yeah. But we know the Constitution, and we want to impeach 45. Impeach 45. Hey, Larry, let's just take this commercial break, and we'll be right back after this short break, folks.
Very good.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio.
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
Turn to every single American. Now, we've been hearing all these stories about sanctuary cities that
you can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Hi, you want to end those those expensive cable bills for good? At VIP TV, we offer unlimited HD quality streaming of over 900 channels on 5 devices at the same time for $39 a month on a pay-as-you-go basis. You can watch it on your big TV with Amazon Fire Stick or TV, Roku, Comcast, Android, gaming consoles, as well as laptops and tablets. You can use an HDMI cable to connect PC to the TV or smart TV via Wi-Fi. Once you've enjoyed the benefits of VIP TV, you can sign up for the service as a customer or business partner with a customized website, $39 or $59 a month. Visit orderviptv.com/the reality check. That's orderviptv.com/the reality check. Any questions, just email us at therealitycheckviptv@gmail.com. Stop wasting time and money and sign up now. Cancel cable for good.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Put sleepless nights behind you with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. I am here with Mr. Larry Pratt, and we are talking about Auntie Maxine talking about shooting straight. Now, what does Auntie Maxine know about guns, do you think, Larry?
Well, I think she's seen them in the holsters of the Capitol Police that are numerous, detailed to protect her. So obviously she doesn't see the need for herself having a gun. Because why would you when you're given that much protection? And that, I think, explains some of the short-sightedness of so many people who think, or maybe I should say feel, the way she does. They're safe, they're protected, they're in that nice little liberal bubble up on the hill, surrounded by all those big, strong men in blue uniforms,
right?
And badges. So what's your problem, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Charlie Rangel when he was asked about why they had so much protection on the Hill. He said, because we need it. And they said, well, what about your constituents? He said, oh, they'll be okay. This is in New York. Charlie, for those of you who don't know,
good.
Charlie Rangel was a 30-year congressman from New York. And his district was probably one of the most crime-ridden districts in the country. But here's a man who did not want to protect his constituents because he felt the police. And we know how corrupt the New York Police Department has been. So we don't even have to debate that or whether that's an issue or a question. But Larry, Auntie Maxine says, shoot straight. You better shoot straight because I'm coming to get you. But look.
Well, Mrs. Congresswoman, I'd rather not shoot you at all, and I'd rather nobody else did, because as I said a minute ago, I want you to keep running your silly mouth.
Yeah.
You are the best gift we've ever been given.
No question. No question. And, she tries to conflate these children at the border with slavery. And I'm going, she has homeless people in her district. She's not doing anything about that. Why go 120 miles south to the border when you have homeless people in your district who happen to be U.S. citizens? Okay.
She's also likened the kids at the border to the kids at the Nazi concentration camps. Well, it didn't take long before somebody published a column written by an octogenarian who had been a child in a Nazi concentration camp. And he was some kind of unhappy with the stupidity of comparing the camps where the kids are detained on our southern border and where he was detained as a 10, 12-year-old kid back under the Nazi regime. These people really, they must be kind of ignorant, or at least they assume we are, that we don't know what the Nazis were like. Kind of like them, actually.
No question. And when you debate these people, they generally have no facts. And then when you present the facts, they get upset that, you actually have facts. You're not talking about how you feel. You start quoting statistics. In fact, I was at a 5th and 6th grade reunion this weekend, and we were at one of our classmates' home. He was gracious enough to open his home to us. And beautiful home, and he had his mother there. She's a very kind lady. And there were a number of my former classmates. And one of the classmates, I was trying to stay pretty much non-political. And one of the classmates said, "It's a."
In other words, you weren't saying a word.
Well, I was, Larry. I just wasn't speaking much about the issues. And so one of my classmates, who happened to have been black, she said, "It's a shame what Donald Trump is doing to those kids at the border, putting them in cages." And so I let her finish. And I said, "Well, Bertha, those were pictures from the Obama administration." And so a lady who was there with a classmate, a companion of a classmate, she said, "Well, we know what station he listens to. We know where he gets his news from." And I'm going, "Well, I'm just telling the truth." Everyone had to admit that those pictures were from, and then other people start saying, "Well, yeah, what about that Time magazine hit piece? That was fraudulent." So we just kind of quietly dropped it because the facts were coming out. Okay. Nobody wants to deal. No one wants to deal with, it was really interesting. And it was just reflective of who and what we are. Nobody was yelling and screaming. Nobody got all bent out of shape. It was just quietly diffused in that, okay, Donald Trump wasn't keeping kids in cages. It was Barack Obama. So it's okay. It must have been okay because Obama was doing.
Right.
Nobody said, "Oh my God, well, whomever did it, it was horrible." They said, "Oh, well, it wasn't. Oh, it wasn't Trump." Okay.
Moving right along.
now. But I have an article here, and I have an article here that says the Supreme Court picked. They said Trump can return us to the framers' vision of the judiciary. Well, that becomes a little scary for a lot of people, but I think that whomever the president picks, he will certainly be able to take into account the things that the framers really wanted in the Constitution, in that they did address slavery and they did address the abolishment of slavery. Although it wasn't mentioned wasn't mentioned in the Constitution. They had numerous debates about that institution we call slavery. Roe versus Wade. And I know this is not our area, Larry, but what I would say on Roe versus Wade is very simply this. 3 months should be the longest that a person has to make up their decision, to make a decision whether or not they're going to have a baby. I think 90 days is long enough. And after that,
more than enough.
Yeah, after that, I think it should be considered murder because that is a child at that time in the womb. Even though I used to always say to my liberal friends who claim it was a child, "Can I deduct it on my income tax?" And they'd say, "Well, no, you can't. You can't deduct it until the child is born." I said, "Well, if you're going to claim the child is a child in the womb and it's conceived, why shouldn't I write it off in the tax year?" Oh, well, that would hurt the federal coffers, of course. We wouldn't want to do that now, would we, Larry?
Well, actually, we would. But that's another subject.
That is another subject. And then we have, and then they talk about the issue of, they're really guns, affirmative action, abortion. Now we have immigrant. And, I say enforce the laws. We're not anti-immigrant, just enforce the laws. What do you think, Larry?
I certainly am not guilty. I shouldn't think of being anti-immigrant because many years ago I married one. So clearly that doesn't fit yours truly.
So, but you know, there are people who say that if you're not for open borders, then you're anti-immigrant, and I don't think that's true.
No, my wife would also second that motion. She's still an immigrant, even though she's been a citizen for a long time. But she views somebody talking about an open border as, well, she might ask them, well, if borders are a bad thing, then are the locks on your door sort of an affront, and they should be taken down as well? Because that's a border.
It is, and a very well guarded one if you're smart.
Yeah, right. So anyway, but consistency is not something that we can find too often among our liberal friends.
And you know, Larry, in order to protect that border, and in order to protect that door on your home, you need something besides a baseball bat. And when someone else is bringing,
or a dozen roses, or yes, exactly. Somebody thinks they have the right to trespass. They've just lost their rights.
Oh yeah, but you know, it's I will, you know, I'll give you what you want. Just let me go, or just don't hurt me. You know, yesterday, I'll tell you a quick story. Quick story. Yesterday, I was in a park, and I was in a in a park where I could put out a picnic table. I have a portable picnic table, and I had my computer hooked up, and you know, I was doing some work, and this guy pulls up. And with all these tattoos on his body, and starts playing his music loud. So I looked at him a couple of times and he turned it down. And then I guess he just decided, what the heck? I'm just going to turn it up and let it play. So I walked over to him and I said, sir, would you mind turning your music down? He said, well, you know, all you had to do was ask me nicely. I said, I shouldn't have to ask you at all. You should be considerate. He said, well, I've been coming to this park for 25 years and I've never seen you. I said, regardless, it's a public park. It's not yours. And if I've never come here, it doesn't make any difference. There are other people here that you're bothering. And he says, well, my father's a cop. And I said, I don't care what your father is. I'm a law-abiding citizen. He works for me. And if he does something that's unlawful.
His father may be a cop, but you know what, Charles, his father probably didn't whoop his butt enough.
Well, you know, here's a guy who has these, he looks like, remember when you used to go to the carnival and they had these people with all these tattoos on their body? You remember those people?
Oh, yeah.
What did we call them? What did we call them?
We call them geeks.
We call them freaks. We call them freaks. And these people today, they have all these tattoos on their body and they don't mean anything. They're just freaks. And so we had, and you know, I was looking at, and so long story short, I told him, I said, you know, he was threatening to whoop my behind and shoot me. And I said, okay, I'm going to let the police deal with this. So I called 911 and the police, of course, came and they wanted to fill out a police report. But, you know, I didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. But I thought that interesting, Larry, but once this guy realized that I wasn't one of those Martin Luther King guys, he got in his truck, turned his music down, got in his truck, and he took off. But, you know, I always say Martin Luther King was one of the worst things ever happened to black folks, because people have this vision of black men as turning the other cheek because that's the thing to do. And I'm not a cheek turner, as my 5th and 6th grade friends reminded me of yesterday, day before yesterday. I'm glad I went over to that, by the way. It's by the way, how's your son doing? How's Eric doing?
Just really fine. Thank you for asking. He is a great spokesman for GunOwners of America.
Eric, by the way, folks, for those of you who don't know, is now the president of GunOwners of America. He took his father's place. His father is President Emeritus of GunOwners of America. You know, Larry, I'd like for you to, I know you got other things to do and other shows to interview with, but I'd like for you to leave us with some words of wisdom here.
Well, sir, you hail from Illinois, and they produced a senator by the name of Everett Dirksen years ago, and he had a way with words, and one of his sayings that he repeated fairly often was that when I feel the heat, I see the light. And we have found that to be quite helpful and instructive. And we have found that if you can not find satisfaction by explaining a matter to or his aides, the one thing that seems to help explanations go much, much farther and be much, much more easily understood is having them feel the heat. As Senator Dirksen said, when I feel the heat, I see the light. It's still true today.
Well, Maxine Waters is having a challenger for the first time, a Republican challenger, who they think may be viable for the first time in a number of years. He happens to be a Hispanic young man.
Get elected because Democrats are so embarrassed.
Yeah, she is very embarrassing. That's a term that I've used often. Not only is she embarrassing, she just needs to go somewhere and sit down, Larry. It's become
Take a deep breath, ma'am.
Yeah, but she's not. She's going to be out there. I know the Constitution, and we're not going to let these children go into slavery down here on the border. We're not going to treat them like slaves. No, we need to send them. I was saying to these folks over the weekend, I said to my former classmates, 5th and 6th grade classmates, I said, I wouldn't allow my daughter to walk from this house to the corner because I don't know anybody in this neighborhood. And it was about maybe 150, 200 yards to the corner, right? But I wouldn't feel safe with my daughter walking to that corner even now. She's 28 years old. We don't know anybody in that neighborhood.
Representative Waters, I think, really exposes her own ignorance. When she talks about not wanting those kids to be in slavery, what she doesn't seem to want to know is that so many of them are actual sex slaves, and they're being brought across the border for that very immoral purpose. And it's not a pretty thing. This is not something they volunteered to do. This is a terrible fate that's come upon these kids. And one of the best things that could be done for them is to separate them from their so-called parents and themselves.
No question. But that won't happen because the liberals have their mantra, and they just don't want to deal with facts, and so we get stuck with the aftermath. And you're so right that these children are in many cases trafficked for sex, and boys and girls, by the way, because the little boys are raped too. But remember that case that went to the Supreme Court where the immigrant young woman wanted to get an abortion, and she wanted the feds to pay for it, so they took it to court, and the court ruled that the feds did not have to pay for her abortion. Do you remember that? It just happened a couple of weeks ago.
I remember that well. Very disturbing that a court would do that. Clearly, the courts are out of control.
Yeah, but man. Anyway, Larry, when you say when you feel the heat, you see the light, huh?
Yes, sir. The senator was right back in the 50s, and we've seen that happen when we've been able to put on enough heat. Well, even today, or in the last several days, our guys up on the Hill have been told by staffers that, GunOwners of America, your email are loud.
And
they get it. They hear it.
They hear it. They hear you loud and clear, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well,
they do indeed.
Well, Larry, keep up the good work. I mean, you and NRA, you guys are really hitting it hard. Where can people come and join your organization and contribute to the organization?
You can go to gunowners.org and you could contribute there. You can also sign up for those email for free. So if you want to bother members of Congress on the cheap, you can do it that way. Just go to gunowners.org.
Well, you did on this new justice. Have you guys heard? I think all of the justices want to uphold the Second Amendment. But the thing that worries me that I'm hearing this thing is that individuals don't have the right to own weapons. How do they plan to take our weapons away? Those of us who own guns. That's what I'm concerned about. I mean, I know that those dumb
Well,
people.
they're going to have one of those cops that they hate. They hate cops, but they're going to tell the cops to go confiscate our guns. You know what? I think all the cops are going to be sick that day.
But
I don't think it's going to happen.
But Larry, they're probably going to threaten us with some type of illegal action if we don't turn those guns in.
Charles, if the gun owners of Connecticut and New York State didn't buckle, then I really don't know where in the country you're going to find a gun owner that says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Here, you can have my gun."
Well, the people did it in Australia. I mean, look at Australia. People are defenseless down there. But let me ask you this, because I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. Did crime go up in Australia with these with the people turning in their guns?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Particularly armed robberies.
Okay. Well, man, I tell you, I didn't know. I hadn't looked it up, so I thought I would ask, and that's always the best thing to do. Thank you so much, Larry, for being with us. GunOwners.org. GunOwners.org. And don't forget your radio show. Don't forget your radio show. When does your radio show come on?
Network, and it's played various times over the weekend, but it's recorded for stations to use when they want on the weekend.
That's great. That's great. We look forward to it. Thank you so much for being with me, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Larry Pratt, okay, Gun Owners of America. Bye-bye, Larry. And we're going to take a quick little break here and kind of bump out. And we'll be right back talking about the issue that seems to be in the news today, and that is the next Supreme Court justice. So.
Red State Talk Radio is now available as a voice command on your Amazon Echo and Echo Dot by simply saying, "Alexa, play Red State Talk Radio."
Red State Talk Radio on TuneIn.
Turn to every single American. Now, we've been hearing all these stories about sanctuary cities that
you can now find us on the Amazon Echo and Echo Dot, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, and we also have the phone apps in the App Store for your particular phone. And just in case we activated your Echo Dot, Alexa, stop.
Hi, you want to end those expensive cable bills for good? At VIP TV, we offer unlimited HD quality streaming of over 900 channels on 5 devices at the same time for $39 a month on a pay-as-you-go basis. You can watch it on your big TV with Amazon Fire Stick or TV, Roku, Comcast, Android, gaming consoles, as well as laptops and tablets. You can use an HDMI cable to connect PC to the TV or smart TV via Wi-Fi. Once you've enjoyed the benefits of VIP TV, you can sign up for the service as a customer or business partner with a customized website, $39 or $59 a month. Visit orderviptv.com/the reality check. That's orderviptv.com/the reality check. Any questions, just email us at therealitycheckviptv@gmail.com. Stop wasting time and money and sign up now. Cancel cable for good.
Hey, this is Leonora Cravota from Red State Talk Radio for My Pillow. I used to have trouble sleeping. My Pillow changed all that. I now fall asleep within moments of my head touching my pillow. That's how comfortable My Pillow is with its patented interlocking fill. My Pillow stays cool and does not go flat. Plus, it's machine washable and dryable. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty and a 60-day comfort guarantee. My Pillow is also the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, and it's made right here in the USA. My Pillow is now offering Red State Talk Radio listeners a 4-pack special with 2 premium standard or queen pillows and 2 go anywhere pillows. That's 4 pillows for the price of 1. To take advantage of this special offer, call 1-800-961-9194 and ask for promo code Red State. That's 1-800-961-9194, promo code Red State. Put sleepless nights behind you with My Pillow, the most comfortable pillow you will ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Okay, welcome back to The Reality Check with Charles Butler here on Red State Talk Radio, as well as TalkStream Live and other stations out there. You can come and give us a call. I'll pick you up at 215-867-8255, 215-867-8255. Mike Cohen. Wow. From Supreme Court justices to Mike Cohen. He's the talk of the town today. Mike Cohen says that he'll put his family and country first. Okay, Michael. The rumor was that Michael was trying to get Donald Trump to pay his attorney's fees. Investigations continue into his work for president, including a payment to an adult film star who claimed to have had an affair with Donald Trump, Smokey Daniels. Now, Smokey was here in Chicago where tickets were $20. I started to go, man, but she was performing like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, which is the time I do the show. So, hey, I didn't go, but she was performing at a club called Admiralty that was out west a little bit. As Cohen made these remarks, he did an off-camera interview with George Stephanopoulos, and they said he was preparing to flip and cooperate with both prosecutors in New York and those looking into the Russian election interference and alleged collusion between Donald Trump aides in Moscow. Now, Cohen was called a fixer. What happened to this thing we call attorney-client privilege? Cohen has frequently been aggressive towards reporters working on stories about Trump. He was the guy who could take a bullet, said he would take a bullet for the president and would never walk away. But he's supposed to have said during his interview with Stephanopoulos that my wife, my daughter, and my son and have my first loyalty and always will. I put my family and country first. In answer to this question of whether he suspected Trump to turn on him, Cohen said, I would not be a punching bag as part of anyone's defense strategy. I'm not a villain in this story. I will not allow others to try to depict me that way. And that's very important. That's very important because perception is 90% of the battle. So that's what Stephanopoulos had to say this morning on Good Morning America. But the FBI raids in April, when you talk to anyone about those raids, they all say they were unconstitutional. They were all saying that the information seized in those raids would never be admissible in court because of client attorney privilege had been violated, had been breached, and just the protections afforded the attorney and the client by virtue of the Constitution had been usurped. I didn't say that. That's what, people who are attorneys and who are familiar with these type of cases say. Now, on Monday, a court released about 1.3 million documents not designated privileged, partially privileged, or highly personal. And according to a court document, the Trump Organization was reviewing about 23,000 remaining items with a deadline of Thursday. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when Mike Cohen sits down with the Mueller investigators. These Mueller investigators, I tell you, they're not very good people. They're very anti-Donald Trump. And I think it's an abuse of power. And I think Rudy Giuliani is a good lawyer to have for President Obama. Julie's been on both sides of it. He knows exactly what these prosecutors want, what they're going to do, and how they operate. Now, regarding, Mike Cohen said he wanted to regain his name and his reputation and his life back. And regarding Trump's repeated claim that Mueller's investigation is a witch hunt, Cohen is supposedly have said, "I don't like the term witch hunt. As an American, I repute Russia or any other foreign government's attempt to interfere or meddle in our democratic process. And I would call on all Americans to do the same." Last week, though, President Trump tweeted that Russia continues to say nothing and do nothing with meddling in our election. He will meet with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki later this month. He told reporters on Friday he would press the Russian president about the election interference. Cohen said that he respected the unanimous conclusions of our nation's intelligence agency that Russia did interfere, and added, simply accepting the denial of Mr. Putin is unsubstantiable. Sustainable. Okay, it's unsustainable. Interesting. Cohen told ABC, though, that he thought Mueller would not find evidence that he colluded with Russians himself. Okay, so here is a guy who Mueller and the feds are grilling, and he's running up these hellacious legal fees. He said a mistake and an example of poor judgment. This does not look good. This looks like Michael Cohen is being railroaded. Michael Cohen is looking out for Michael Cohen, and he should, but he should tell the truth. And what he says is, Mueller can, investigate. I don't think it's a witch hunt, but he won't find that Michael Cohen, colluded with the Russians. And he could probably say the same thing about Donald Trump, that Donald Trump did not collude with the Russians, to his knowledge. But he hasn't said that. The question is, why? Why hasn't he said that? And asked if he thought Donald Trump had known of his meeting in advance with Stormy Daniels, with Jared Kushner and Paul Manafort and a group of Russians promising dirt on Hillary. He said he could not comment under the advice of his counsel. So, hide, run. And we don't know what's going on, except that now all of a sudden Mike Cohen is saying it's not a witch hunt. I'm not going to say it's a witch hunt, but I can tell you that Mueller will not draw any lines, or he cannot say that Michael Cohen, colluded with the Russians. But I can't say that then presidential candidate Trump did not. See, something's wrong with that picture. I mean, he was the fix-it guy. He should have known what was going on and what was transpiring with his guy, because he's the fix-it guy. He fixed things, supposedly. Well, it didn't do too good a job. Mike, you didn't do too good a job, baby. Or maybe Donald didn't inform him. But if he's the fixer, You would think he would be in the room. You would think that he knew more than he knows. And I think that's where these people are trying to go with this. They're trying to, take this guy and hang him out to dry. And he's really a good guy. He's a decent individual. But they're going to try to portray him as anything but. I know those legal fees are killing him. And I know he's trying to mitigate as much as he can running up these fees because they just become hellacious. Hey, this is going to be kind of our sign off for the broadcast on Red State and TalkStream Live, but we're still out there on Facebook, broadcasting live at facebook.com/Charles Butler Conservative, where we're talking about the issues of today, talking about how we decipher what Michael Cohen is really saying about the Russian involvement in the presidential election. So, I mean, that's what this is all about. So we're going to sign off here in about 15 seconds with Red State and those guys and continue to broadcast on the Facebook Live feed. Yeah. I'd like to see Michael Cohen testify. I'd like to see him come clean. I would have liked to have seen him vindicate President Trump, but that wasn't to be. Okay. Take care. See you guys over at Red State. Going to keep on broadcasting over at Facebook. This new Supreme Court justice is going to be the swing vote. However, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, we can kill the bumper music. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is 85 years old. Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be 86 next March. 86 years old. That's old. That's 20 years older than me. And I think I'm old. Anyway, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she'll be 86, 20 years older than yours truly. And next March. And doesn't seem like she has any inkling of resigning. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to search and see if there's anything out here about Ruth Bader Ginsburg resigning. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg resigning. I don't think so. Let's see. RBG resigning. Let's see what happens, what comes up. Nope. So Donald Trump calls for her to resign. Well, that won't. That won't happen. If Donald calls for her to resign, she will surely stay in that seat. But they said a day ago that President Trump called on her to resign. That is hilarious. I'm just thinking, should I play this or not? I think I will. I think I'll try to play it. Let's see here. Let's see if Ruth is giving any serious consideration to Donald Trump's message to resign. Let's see. But we're going to keep that on. We'll play this. They have a commercial up, so we'll play through the commercial. And we'll unmute it and then, hear what Ruth Bader Ginsburg has to say. Oh, Harry, while we're waiting on that, though, I just want to mention that Harry Weinstein got accused of by three more women of inappropriate behavior. Yeah. Oh, Lord. They just keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming. And he has to keep living and keep living.
At war with RBG. That's right, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who told the New York Times, "I can't imagine what the country would be with Donald Trump as our president." This morning, Trump fired back on Twitter saying, "Justice Ginsburg of the U.S. Supreme Court has embarrassed all by making very dumb political statements about me. Her mind is shot."
Oops. Trump says her mind is shot. She should resign. That's what he said a while ago. That's nothing recent. Isn't that amazing? You know, they tried to portray it like this was something that happened recently. No, that happened a while ago. Oh, man. It's too funny. And she was 83 when she said that. So, you know, hey, she and Donald don't get along. But they held this up as if she'd said this like last year. Then 4 months ago, they said, let's see, that's a year ago, 5 months ago. See, everybody's talking about a year ago when supposedly, you know, she said that Donald Trump wouldn't win. He wouldn't be a good president, yada, 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 yada. Didn't happen, boy. We got Donald, and I can tell you, thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God for his resolve on the trade issues and bringing jobs back to America. And if we win these court battles, maybe we'll bring some common sense back to public discourse and start dealing with the fact that men are men and women are women. I was just reading an article in The Guardian about a pond that's been set up as a sanctuary for women. You know, so women can go there, change, go wade in the pond, dip in the pond, you know, kind of, it's a woman's pond. And they're dealing with this transgender issue, and they're talking about the staff of this pond has been given transgender training. Transgenderism is a mental illness. Anyone who's walking around with male or female organs and thinking they're a member of the other sex has serious psychological problems. Do you know that 97% of people who have sex changes regret the fact that they had sex changes? I guess 1, it hurts, and 2, God didn't make you that way, and 3, it's just Frankensteinish, if you ask me. But who's asking? But I can tell you this. I think that Ruth Bader Ginsburg will probably die in office in the next couple of years. And President Trump will have the opportunity, probably in a presidential election year. And everybody's talking about and trying to conflate the Garland issue with Trump. And they're not the same. They're talking about Senate and congressional races. We were talking about a presidential race, which separated and determined the president would determine or select the nominee. So here you have people like Juan Williams trying to justify that the Democratic resistance and resentment toward Donald Trump making a Supreme Court nominee in an election year. It wasn't an election year, Juan. See, Juan isn't even really a Black American. This is a guy who didn't know what CP time meant. Any Black person in America, real Black person, because you see, we have all these Black people in America today who are not really Black Americans. They're like, Juan is from some island somewhere, and you know, he didn't grow up in America, and he was in that liberal camp until he got fired at, I think it was NPR, for saying something, and Roger Ailes brought him over, saved his career, brought him over to Fox. But Juan is trying to say, well, the resentment on the Democratic side and all of the talk of boycotting and trying to block an appointment by the president is because of Merrick Garland. Not the same thing. The president of the United States can appoint, or he's the only one who can appoint or nominate a Supreme Court justice. That's by the Constitution. It's not per how the Congress feels. And so when McConnell said, wait a minute, we're in an election year, President Obama's on the way out, guess what? We're not going to vote on a nominee. If Hillary wins, then she can appoint the Supreme Court justice. If Jeb Bush wins, then he can appoint the Supreme Court just because that's who the front runner was at that time, Jeb Bush. But Bush is I never liked Bush as for president. I didn't like him as Florida governor, but that's another story. The real issue here is that the president, whomever he or she is, should be allowed to make the appointment, and the Senate has to vote up or down. That's all they're there to do, vote up or down. Other than that, we're all just really kind of spitting in the wind, to be polite. There are a lot of things floating out here that I really want to go into, but I want to do some homework on them first. And one is the claim by the Trump administration that Obama gave the Iranians access to our banks, and two, gave citizenship to a number of Iranians. Citizenship. I didn't say this. This is what's out there in the news today. This is what's out here in the news. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Tariffs. We're going to talk about tariffs tomorrow. We're going to talk about tariffs. We're going to have Frank Venucio on tomorrow from the New York Center for Analysis and of Government and Policy. I want to send my prayers to Mr. Howard Standback, my stepdaughter's father, and hope that he gets well. Love you, Howard. Hope you recover. God, it tears me up. But folks, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm getting a little tired. Had a long weekend, had a long day. So we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So join us. Thank you. Take care.